Hi everyone. Well, if you watched my series on getting this gun back up and functioning, you'll see what can be done with something that looks pretty bad. Uh, and it was pretty bad, but it's not the worst I've ever done. The worst gun that, the most seized up, corroded, whatever you want to call it, gun that I ever did was a Browning Auto 5. Guy calls me up one time and he says, listen, I got a Browning Auto 5. It belonged to my grandfather, and it's not working. And I said, yeah, okay. I said, bring it in. So he comes in, and he's from Newfoundland, and the gun was one of the early Browning Auto 5s. I'd say late 40s, early 50s, I guess. And it was seized. Couldn't, went to clear it, couldn't open it, couldn't do anything. So I said, tell me about this. He said, well, it belonged to my grandfather, and he bought it new. And I said, yeah. And I said, probably never seen any oil since then. And, like living around salt water, the guns really take a pounding. So I said, okay, leave it with me. I said, this is going to be expensive. And he said, yeah, I don't care. He said, see if you can get it functioning. I said, okay. So when I started to work on it, everything seized. So I put the penetrating oil to it, and I left it for about 4 or 5 days. And I was able to start getting the binder screws out. And that's one of the things with the Browning. They all have binder screws that hold the main screws in the Auto 5. So I got them out. Just kept working at it. Eventually got it all apart. The dirt and corruption that was in that gun was unbelievable. The oil had dried so that it formed almost like a varnish. And basically I had to scrape this gun, right? I had to scrape the breech bolt, all the parts, the trigger group. I had to scrape this stuff off because oil wouldn't penetrate it, wouldn't soften it up. You just had to end up scraping it. So eventually I got it all cleaned, and I thought, nah, this thing's never going to work. So I put it all together. I check it as I check them, for function and everything, unload it and everything like that, check the safeties, and pull the trigger and make sure she fires, and yeah, it worked. So I loaded up some shells. I went over to the shooting box. I had a shooting box in the shop. And boom, boom, boom. 3 shells right in a row. I said, geez, that's odd. I put in 3 more. Boom, boom, boom. She worked. Um, I think total time, it took me about 5 or 6 hours to work on this gun, on that Browning Auto 5. The thing is that I knew how good the Auto 5 was, right? And, as a semi-automatic, if I wanted a semi-automatic shotgun, that would be the one I would take. That's one I would choose. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, this thing was, we're talking about a gun that was 1950s, late 40s, early 50s. I was working on it. Would have been about 2000, 2001. It was totally chock-a-block full of crap and corruption. Cleaned it all up, and she functioned. I mean, that's a testament to how good the Auto 5s are. And of all the Auto 5s I've worked on, there was only one that I could never get to function. And I never ever did find out what it was. And it was an almost brand new gun, so there was some kind of defect that it probably would have had to go back to Browning. For them to just start replacing parts. I didn't have the parts to replace. I think it had something to do with the barrel, because it's a long action, where the barrel goes back, but only one that I never got to function. And I mean, some of them would come in, but that was the dirtiest. And the Browning Auto 5, absolutely incredible gun. The dirtiest gun I ever worked on, and it's one of the most satisfying jobs I did. Now, in those days I was usually charging about anywhere, depending on the gun, $30 to $50 to clean a gun. I charged the guy 125 bucks, and he got a deal on it. I mean, I put a lot of time and effort into that, and but and he was perfectly happy because his grandfather had passed away, and he wanted the gun functioning, and he was a hunter, and all that good stuff. But anyway, this was not the dirtiest gun I've ever worked on, right? I'm not going to say this is a standard, but this was not it. Anyway, till the next time.